Circle Grace One live with myself, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I'm here today. We're going to do a short program. We're not going to be on for 90 minutes or 2 hours today. We might do this program within 1 hour's time. It's now 5:03 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, and 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I've only planned to do this show for about an hour, perhaps. Who knows? But it won't be 90 minutes. I'm going to have a lot of work, a lot of work that I'm doing out here, and I'm happy about it. I'm also allowing myself to engage in some proper rest because I'm always doing something in the wee hours of the night. So, without further ado, through divine power and by divine grace. May all of you who get this opportunity to witness this show live today, may you receive the blessings that are gifts of energy inside the words that create images, the images that create more seeds of compassion, divine grace, understanding, wellness, wholeness, and completion with harmonic peace in your life. And may you be blessed by everything that you hear and receive here today. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what I was doing yesterday on my Blog Talk Radio show. Many of you who follow me realize that what I've been doing lately is whatever topic that I used on my Wednesday afternoon Blog Talk Radio show, a part of that topic is either repeated in full or carried forward in as an excerpt into this live streaming video program. So yesterday's program was called Decree and You Shall Be. And so next week's program on that will be actually called I See and Decree It and It Shall Be. And I gave a brief definition of what the word affirm meant, what an affirmative prayer was, and what a decree is. And then I actually read two of my universal decrees. Now, one of them I kind of went through thoroughly, or I should say somewhat thoroughly. The other one I touched upon it briefly. I'm going to review those two in the top part of this program today. Now, what I'm also going to do is, as I promised people who listened to the show yesterday, I'm going to do a quote unquote wing it show thereafter, meaning this is why it's going to be short. I'm going to bring up some special things for other people to capture and realize and perhaps utilize. So I may talk about a lot of different things. I think what's needed right now with all of this energy that's floating around on the planet, people need to be more focused. All of us need to be focused and centered. There's a lot of energy that's going out, and a lot of people are saying, and I've seen it, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's nothing. No, there's a lot of fear and a lot of chaos rolling around on the planet, not just from people who are in the spiritual community, but people who aren't in the spiritual community, and people who are in quote unquote occult circles, those who are doing some positive work, are out there trying to create some positive energy, just like people in this positive spiritual, metaphysical communities are putting forth positive energy always. But there are some people out there planting some seeds of negativity, and for people who think it's not affecting them, it is affecting you on some level because you might be having upset stomachs, you might be having unusual headaches, backaches, soreness, stiffness, and a lot of that is not just ascension. A lot of that is negativity that has been released into the atmosphere. And especially, it's in the foods. So there are a lot of things that are being energetically placed out in your auric field, whether you are aware of it. And those of us, I know a lot of people do, and I've done it, and I've spent less time, and I shield myself up as much as possible. I suggest if you're on Facebook a lot, you need to be shielded up. People say, well, shield with love. Yeah, but things are happening to you and your family. And as much shielding as people are doing, stuff is still happening. So it's not based on what we may think that it should be based on. Things are happening, all kinds. And the multi-dimensional worlds, or as I call it, different lanes, are overlapping. So we will experience our most positive sides that are in those other lanes, aspects of our soul, and we're going to experience the dark side of ourselves that are like bleeding into this world. And so it's going to be very important for everybody to keep raising their energy. Choose to be positive. Yes, choose to be positive. Choose to attract positive people into your life. Choose to speak positively all the time. But understand, do understand that there are people who are in the quote unquote lower grade vibrational communities that practice real negative stuff, and their stuff is just as powerful as your stuff. And there's a hermetic principle that deals with opposites. And the seven hermetic principles, one of them deals with polar opposites, polarity. There's one that deals with like attracts like. Well, guess what? Like attracts its opposite. That happens also. So be aware that the universe is constantly being planted with a lot of different types of grades of energy. And it is important to understand that those grades of energy that are low keyed, they've been there for a long time. They've been there in an incubation stage for a long, long time. And they're beginning to manifest. So I just want to let you know that all of us have to continue to upgrade our energy, upgrade the skills and things that we know about. And we don't have to be perfect, but we do have to perfect ourselves. We don't have to be perfect, but we do have to perfect ourselves. And that is done through your not only your actions but your words. And this is essential. I mean, these basic things have been learned in the principles of yoga, practicing yoga, how you must stretch and limber the body in certain ways. Ask anybody who trains in the martial arts. They will tell you, yes, you must be polite, and yes, you must respect your opponent's energy, and yes, you must be aware that nothing can bother you if you know your stuff. But they tell you what, you still have to protect yourself. So be aware of this. Just don't walk around all uh, without consciousness, without awareness. And that starts from the minute you go to sleep to the second that you wake up. If you wake up in the middle of the night, just don't assume that everything is easy peasy, folks, because there are people who are doing things all the time. And I mean all the time. And I've been in old communities where I used to work in botanicas. That was proof that, you know, they used to say the city never sleeps. Those who do negativity don't sleep either. People are constantly exercising things all the time. Sometimes people aren't dismissing things. And you find those things that are not being dismissed running around aimlessly or running around with direction. And it's either coming to you, or it's coming to someone connected to you, or it's coming to a stranger near you. Nonetheless, it's in your space. So we all are learning. And I have to keep training myself to not respond to certain things. Sometimes you do. You respond because of the lack of knowledge. You respond because of some old teachings inside of you that are embedded there that come up at certain times that surface, just like something caught in the bottom of the sea and a rock is released off of it and it floats to the top. When it's time for you to see it, you must see it. So I just say that and this is not being opinionated because everybody has their own experience. So I don't want anybody listening to this show later think, oh, he's being very opinionated. Oh, you can. No, I'm not. I'm talking from my experience, and I know that many have theirs. They just don't express it. And what I've found out, if you don't start expressing even what you think you're afraid of, even what you think worries, even if you don't, when a certain button, and I'm not talking about nuclear stuff, when a certain energetic button has been pressed, you're going to find yourself in the middle of a wave of energy that you may not be able to control. And you may not have assistance. You may not have that extra branch to reach onto because other people are going to be too busy trying to save themselves and trying to fix themselves. So I just wanted to put that out there. This is not designed to scare. I mean, we're being scared to death all the time. Subliminal messages. This is why some people don't have a TV around them, and I don't blame them. I have plenty of friends all over the United States who have gotten rid of TV sets. And what I've done, I like to watch a little TV. I like to watch some sports sometimes. I like to watch some quote unquote sitcoms. I like to watch. But what I've done is I have trained myself because I'm on the computer so much. I have trained myself not to watch TV so much. That's what I've learned. And now I'm retraining myself not to be on the computer all the time. And now I'm retraining myself not to be on this cell phone all the time. I could check Facebook on here. I could check anything, weather report on here. But I'm getting back to that other side of myself, the side that can feel when something is about to happen or something is not going to happen, even though somebody wants it to happen. So I'm training myself to get away from the gadgetry a little bit. Sometimes some are good to have. There's nothing wrong with them. But we all know, as they say, fake news happens all the time. A lot of fake stuff is on Facebook. you know, I've always thought maybe I should create my own social media site, but I don't want to get stuck on the computer all day. I don't want to get stuck monitoring all that stuff. I'm doing some little things now, closed groups on Facebook, but I really don't want to be checking them all the time. So I just say that as a commercial break, a public service announcement that you want to pay really more attention to what you are feeling. Neville Goddard said it. Goddard. Neville Goddard said it a long time ago in his teachings. Reverend Ike said it in his teachings. Reverend Ike would say the feelings get the blessing. If you have a feeling, a strong feeling on something, and that's your intention, is what you're feeling to come into your life, the universe is going to respond to that feeling faster than it responds to your thought. And you can practice that. You can put your emotional energy and weigh it in on a particular idea that you want. And you'll find that that idea that you want starts to materialize, and the people start coming into form with it because they're getting magnetized to it. And like an avalanche, it starts flowing your way. Especially if it's something that you sincerely want, sincerely desire to have, then all things pop up. And sometimes you could feel the energies of personalities, and you can test it. You can say, I feel like such and such is going to call me, or someone is about to call me, or they want to call me, but they're not sure if they should call me. And then you call, and what do they say? I was just getting ready to call you. That's a feeling. So we need to get in touch with the feelings. Don't get in touch with this images that are thrown out there in front of us. Because those images that are thrown out there in front of us are coming from someone or groups of people thinking and sending that thought out over and over and using certain mechanical or computerized machines with artificial intelligence to blast that message out 24/7. Never stops. You remember how I'm gonna get to this stuff in a minute, but do you remember how many of you out there who were born in the 1950s? Now, the reason why I say that because television They went from those fast clip black and white movies back in the 40s, in the 30s, and so forth, to which was motion picture, right? To black and white TV around 1947. I got an older brother. He's born in 1947. That's when black and white TV was out, folks. Black and white TV was all over the place. Prior to that was those quick flick motion pictures and many other motion pictures going on. But then in the 50s, we had the TV. Everything now is transferred to TV. How many people remember? Do you remember when TV would come on at 6 a.m. in the morning and go off by midnight? How many of you remember that? Just think. How many people remember when the TV, the major stations all started broadcasting sometime around 5, 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning, and then went off the air exactly around 11 o'clock or midnight? Bam, they were all off the air, signing off. That's in the days when you had, I believe, WPIX. Remember that? WPIX, which was channel 11. You had WOR TV, which was channel 9. So you had 11. Look at the numbers, 11 and 9. Okay? Then you had channel 7, which was ABC. Then you had channel 5, which had its own numbers, which is WNEW. I believe that was the station. And look this up to see if I'm correct. WNEW, or it might have been WNEWS, but it's WNEW. They all use a W out in front, you see. And then they use those other call letters. All right, so WNEW was channel 5. And then channel 4 was NBC. And channel 2 was what? CBS. Now, look at the symbols. You remember the peacock? The peacock was with what? Channel 4, NBC. The eye, the eye, was Channel 2, CBS. Symbolism. The circle with a 7 in the center of it was Channel 7. And then you had 9 had its symbol, I believe, and 11 had its symbol. And then you had WNET, which, if I'm not mistaken, or which they call the PBS stations, right? Public Broadcasting Service station, WNET. I think that was channel 13. And then somewhere down the line, WNEW changed to what? Fox, FOX, channel 5, Fox. Why do they call it Fox? Just something to think about. But if we start looking at national broadcasting system, was NBC, and all these things. But you start looking in National Broadcasting Company or Corporation, but you start looking in American Broadcasting Corporation, all coming to mind. Start looking at these symbols. And then so you had VHF channel, and then you had UHF channel. And one of those channels, you didn't get too many other high numbers. After 13, you had channel 21 was the PBS station. And then maybe you're lucky and got something on 25, 27, and maybe you got something on 31 or 33 or 37, and then it would jump all the way up the ladder in the 40s somewhere, and then the 50s, and then it would jump, give you 2 digits or 1 digit up in the 60s, and 1 digit up there in the 70s, and that was it. These were these extra stations that no one really listened to or watched, but it's just something to be considered. So I don't know. The universe wanted me to to share that with you, just to look at that and play around. Just kind of look at see what those symbols were that they used for those TV channels. I even remember, I think, a countdown channel at midnight or before when they came on was this, looked like a wheel, and they had a Native American head in there, like a chieftain's head in there, and they had that, and they used to show you that. So I just say to say this, that a lot of changes are going on. And in this ascension process, a lot of awareness is going on. And then there's a lot of releasing that's going on. So not only are we releasing mentally, but we're releasing emotionally. Okay, we're releasing physically. Because the physical body and the muscles and the cells and the joints, all of those energies there have captured, have recorded these experiences way back in our childhood, going up here to our adult life. So we have all these experiences in our body. So we want to pay more attention now to a lot of things that's going on. But all I'm saying, and again, I'm not trying to be opinionated, just a thought, just an idea, just maybe someone else can do some research on it. If you see this show later up there on YouTube, just take a look at it. I'm not trying to bend your thinking to my thinking, because everybody has a right to have a sovereign frame of mind, and have a sovereign life. Everybody is entitled to that, but it also should be about helping each other, not blasting each other out, loving each other, having deep respect, agree to disagree without calling each other names, all that nonsense. To be able to just know that we have decided to come here as these different souls, and now we're waking up and we're supposed to change the program. So we've got some ways that the program can be changed, but we have some ways that we have to work with ourselves to free ourselves from some old concepts of thinking. And again, this is just my feelings and my thoughts. I'm not here to be Mr. Perfect, Mr. Correct at all, just sharing some things that popped up in my head today. So I'm going to, with enough of all of that, that was too much time spent. I want to go over these two um, affirmations or decrees. And what's very unique about the very first one is that it really has has about 3 or 4 sections here, short paragraphs made up of 3 lines apiece. And what it does is it gives you the statement, then it gives you the affirmation, then it gives you the decree. First thing you want to know is that what does it mean to affirm? When you affirm something, it means you're taking a stance on an idea or a statement to you that is real and true. It's factual. You know it exists because you're experiencing it in your life. It's a part of who you are. It's your experiences, it's your way of life. So when you say that I affirm, you are stating that what you are saying from that point on is factual and true. Now, for instance, when people go to court, they have a choice. They could say, put their hand on a Bible and say, I swear, under oath. But no one ever tells you in the courtroom that an oath is a swear and a swear is a curse. No one ever tells you that. They just tell you, go in there and put your hand on the Bible and take an oath. Oath means you're cursing. You're swearing to this. You're swear. When people swear, person's not saying something nice. They're cursing when they're swearing. So you're actually injuring yourself, spiritually and metaphysically speaking. You're injuring and impeding your spiritual being within inside yourself when you're oathing away. But the option, the alternative that you have, is to say, I affirm. Now, when you say you affirm, you are truly speaking from that part of yourself, from your innermost being, that you know what you are saying, what you live, what you experience is truth to you. So it doesn't matter, a judge is listening to how you're answering, and all the judge can say is, "Hey, I need you to either swear on that Bible, or which is ecclesiastical law, or I need you to take this oath to uphold the truth, say the truth, and nothing but the truth, or you already affirm and cut all of that out and say, look, I affirm. Judge, magistrate, there, be it male or female in the robe, will have to accept that you are affirming. Put in the records that so and so affirmed. Okay? They know that there's a difference. That's why they don't push it on you to swear on the Bible. You can say you affirm, and they have to accept it. Okay? So you have this power to take a stance, to take a position in your life. And that's what we mean by affirm. Making something firm, strong, because you are aware that it is the truth to you. What is an affirmation? An affirmation, therefore, is a process of proclaiming and declaring that. That's what an affirmation is. It's a process to proclaim and declare what you say is true. Tion is the suffix there, and it means that you're taking action. You're taking action as a state or condition of what you are affirming. So you're taking action by saying this verbally, and you're living it out at the same time, physically. Okay? Now, a prayer is this tool, a special tool, communication tool, silent tool, or actual verbalizing your words, putting your words and the energy behind it to communicate with you and that which is called the Creator. Now, yes, 40, 50 years ago, no one was teaching that the Creator is inside of you. All these things have been coming to us later, that the Creator is on the inside. So now that people are understanding that the Creator is on the inside, that the God aspect is within, the Holy Spirit, the soul consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness, all of this consciousness, divine source energy is inside of you, meaning it's flowing through every chakra. It's flowing through every cell of your being. The trillions of cells inside are what? Revealing God consciousness on some level. There's this silent communication that's going on between here and here, or I'll say here and the rest of you, that's going on. And there's a certain awareness of this consciousness called capital God. And we also know we got this thing called the ego. That's the personality part that kind of runs rampant. That's the part of us that can carry fears, that can boast, put you in a position to boast. You know that you got it all, know it all, and you don't. And there's no way you're gonna lose. But or you're just out there. Then there's something that I came to me that's the ego can be tempered and reverse those letters, and it's called a geo, geo, and that's the part of you that can invoke itself into a better space, a better place energetically, through the power of your words, through the power of your intentions, through the power of your feelings, and then take yourself there physically. That's the geo, which is just ego flipped around. Then if you put a D and an E on there, you got geo. What's a geo? Geo is like a mother load of crystalline energy. So that's you. You're this crystalline figure on the inside, energetically pouring out into your auric field, loaded with divine intelligence, and it's just constantly replicating on a much higher level, and duplicating and just putting it out the sources of energy on a higher level. So that's what an affirmation is doing. And also what a prayer is doing, right? A prayer, you're communicating with that. Now you can communicate with the source inside yourself, which also then can communicate with the source outside yourself, which means animals are communicating with you all the time. Insects are communicating with you all the time. Elements in the ethers of fire, air, water, and earth, and the spirits that represent that, elementals as they call them, are constantly aware of who you are and in communication with you. You're just unaware that that's how much communication that you got going on with these elements. And then you got other forms, angelic forms as they are called. And it just goes further and further and further. And then you've got other entities that you're in touch with all over the place in this world, this matrix world that you're sitting in the womb of consciousness on a completely different level. Then an affirmative prayer. What's an affirmative prayer? An affirmative prayer is the combination, it's the process of the prayer, of your personal communication tool with the God or the divine source within you that's also outside of you. But in that process of proclaiming and declaring that prayer is real and true to you, you have to set up some parameters and some connections. One, you have to acknowledge this divine source as being infinite, perpetual, constant, It's there, it's eternal. You have to recognize, that some say the author of the universe. And so you gotta, however you view quote unquote God in you, that's the first level. And then the second level, that's the first, the will of God, right? Then the second is your will and how you relate, because you are a part, you're a whole part of it, and as they say, partial. So partial means you got your own free will, but yet your will is connected to the divine. So there's a particular relationship, and those relationships have been described as the spiritual God energy is known as the Father, and then that the divine Father energy or divine masculine energy has what the divine feminine energy was, the divine mother energy. You're the child, so you're carrying the divine feminine or divine masculine energy within you. So you establish this relationship. That's what happens in one part of the affirmative prayer. Then the intention goes out of what the divine essence is capable of doing, and then your relationship to that, and that you're part of the vehicle that carries that out, and then there's an outcome. There has to be some kind of positive outcome that is put into motion. So once that is established, then when the prayer is complete, usually, let's say, if you're a student of the Unity Church or you're Ernest Holmes' work of the Science of Mind, and then there's others called Divine Mind, and all these other ones that were around at the same time when these spiritual communities were being built up and put together out there, they all usually say, and so it is. Or they might say, amen, and so it is, and so shall it be. So, yeah, it is now and it's being. It's already here. Okay, you're not putting it way out there for something that comes in the future and you got to wait for it to get to you. Or the late Reverend Ike used to say, you know, get your pie in the sky, your pie in the sky now. Feel it and let it come into your life right now. So there's just all this. And then there's the decree. Now, decrees have been used in jurisprudence, which is law, legal situations, and they call it a decree is an order. It's an order from the court, an order of authority from the court, something that's handed down from the court, okay? Or depending on which court that is, sometimes they use the term edict, edict, or ordinance. All these things are connected to law. Okay, but I'm talking about not the man-made consciousness part of the law. I'm talking about divine law. So in divine law, it is said without reservation, which means you're not holding anything back, that what you are stating is true, and guess what? It's in motion now. It's happening right now, right in this moment. That's why we say the present, present, the present moment is a gift. Present gift. Because it is something that is being given to you. The gift is given to you, or you're giving the gift to others in the present moment. And you can see two or three distinctive words or inside of that word moment. Actually, there's more than that. There's M-O. You can look that up. It has meaning. Latin derivative of something. And then you look up M-O-M, which is a contraction for what? Mother or mama. Okay? And then you got M-E-N, which is plural for men. Okay? And then you got M-E-N-T, which is a suffix for the rest of the word. All right, which deals with what? When you're looking at mental, dealing with the mind, mother of the mind, in the moment, and mother of the mind gives birth in the moment, gives birth now. Universe is giving birth now. You're creating thoughts right now. You're an expression of the divine sources of energy, be it divine mother and divine father. You're the divine feminine or the divine masculine. You're happening right now. You're alive and well. You're living. So all these things are there. So one says a decree says it is the grand ultimate statement. And it is absolutely true, and you're not holding anything back, and you're initiating that energy so that it is fully in place. And then the task, and I'm going to tell you, I haven't mastered this at all. The task is to be able to deliver a decree with firmness, like an affirmation. Deliver a decree like an affirmation, like a prayer. It is a command to be able to deliver it and not waver. Which means you can't say, I decree this, but I'm not sure. You can't, it's like saying you're taking an arrow of the bow and arrow, and the minute you release it, you're going to try to catch the arrow before it gets to its target. Don't shoot the arrow if you're not sure. So it is the same. A decree is the absolute command. In fact, a decree is usually issued as the last piece of information. It is the last thing that is said when nothing else has any impact or any influence or has gotten to the source in a way that it should have. A decree, when it's released, the person who released it, that's where the phrase come in, don't blame the messenger for the message. The messenger is just a vehicle, a vessel for the decree, for the message. In fact, when that messenger delivers it, they get out of the way. They don't hang around and wait to see what your response is going to be. They're not being nosy about it. They're just delivering the message. That's what happens when you lay out a decree. So, in fact, I said this is not going to be long. We've been on about 40 minutes. So we got 20 minutes left to go, and I'm going to devote 10 minutes to each one of these. First one I'm going to do is set it up for you by reading you the first one and teaching briefly. This first one is called I Have the Power to Change and Make Myself New in This Moment. And I just explained the word moment to you. This was channeled to me out of a meditation back on the 8th of May 2015. So this happened a few days before Mother's Day. It's interesting how this got to me. So it says, I have the power to change and make myself new in every moment. Let me reread that statement now. I have, because it's the title, I have, and I'm going to put some emotions in it. I have the power to change and make myself new in every moment. Now, that is what the title is in itself, and that's the first sentence. You might say a clause, a statement. Now I'm going to back this statement up. Using the same statement, I'm going to add I'm going to turn it into an affirmation. I affirm that I have the power to change and make myself new in every moment. Listen, I affirm. Remember, the word firm is to take a stance, take a position, and hold firmly to it. I affirm that I have the power to change and make myself new in every moment. Now that is very powerful. You can't miss that. Then it says, to turn this now into a decree, it says, I see Not only see with my physical eyes, not am I just observing and witnessing this, what I'm saying. The word see also means to understand. Saying, I understand, I get it. I see. And now, here's the command. And I decree, which means I'm invoking something to show up, that I have the power to change and make myself and my life new in every moment. I see and decree that I have the power to change and make myself and my life new in every moment. That means I'm commanding myself. Remember, I just said earlier, we have this ego, which is out of alignment a little bit. It's like the flip side of our geo, our true nature, that can invoke something. Well, here it is. In a decree, your geo, that part of you that has a sacred geometrical signature that's alive and well, it's a divine signature inside yourself. It's, call our soul, call our Holy Spirit, call it whatever you want it. It's now making the statement. I see and decree. It's telling you, I witness for you. I see and decree that I have the power to change. So you're giving yourself permission by laying out this decree. You're giving yourself permission to change. And what does it say? And make myself. It means you're not relying on somebody else to do this. When you lay this decree out, you're putting this on yourself to do. You're initiating yourself with your words. Make myself and my life new in every moment. The next section. I always had this power. See, I always had. You're recognizing. You're now affirming. I always had this power, and I affirm that I do have this power. See, the affirmation is right there. You just acknowledge that I'm acknowledging I always had this power. You just recognize it, just remember it. And I affirm that I do have this power. Now you can take the affirmative step. I have the power. Therefore, I see and decree that I am this very power. I see and decree. I understand, and now I can decree, I accept, and now absolutely stating, without a doubt, that I am this very power. And I can change myself. Nothing blocking me. And make myself new in every moment of my life, here and now. Not just in the moment. When you say here and now, you're like pulling open the veils, the curtains of the energetic field. You said it's right here and it's right now, meaning that you can feel it. Then it says, therefore today, I am a powerful, infinite being. Eternal thoughts. Infinite. No beginning and no ending. Okay? And I can make myself, mean you have the power to tell yourself what to do, make yourself do this. I can make myself and my new life or make my life excuse me, and can make myself and my life new now. So when we're feeling sad, many of us feel sad, we get upset, we go through the emotions. You're in this human form. You're going to go through some emotions. You're going to go through some up and downs. But let yourself go through it. Let yourself release whatever is disturbing. Let yourself release. Then pick yourself up. Why? Because you're making yourself what? New, and you're making your life new now. Then it says, in this moment called right now. Right now is infinite. This is why we're not supposed to think about the future. But it's hard not to think about the future. Not supposed to think about what happened because you really can't change the past. But hey, we're finding out that, certain intelligences have been traveling back in time across multi universes and down wormholes and changing the reality of the past to make the future go in a certain direction. Think about it. If you can watch Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, all these other things doing what? Giving hints, people traveling back in time, changing things. Knowing that these timelines are what? Connected by threads of consciousness. So there is a possibility. People say you got a doppelganger hanging around. People say there's a possibility that there's some part of you living someplace else in this universe around you doing well, doing better. And that's the part you want to get in touch with. So we all got facets of ourselves in perfect forms all over the universe, all over the galaxy, living on every possible place, having every possible experience, and not even struggling. That's the one we want to get in touch with. And that one over there is having these experiences of us back here going through all of these changes and is trying to send out a signal. It doesn't have to be that way. Try this, try that, do this, get in touch with that person or that being. These things exist. Then it says, therefore I affirm that I have the power to change and make myself new in this very moment. I affirm and I can change my life right now. I see and decree that I have the power to change myself. So it sounds like it's a little redundant, but what it's doing is replicating the energy. Okay? I see and decree that I have the power to make myself and my life new in this moment now. I affirm, see, and decree that everything I have said here and now is my truth. And so it is as I am, and I capitalize those letters, I am now. I see and decree that it shall be as I say that it is for me right now. In other words, if you were to take this and read this for yourself, you would realize that you're initiating this energy for yourself. You couldn't speak this energy really for somebody else. This energy is really spoken for you, for yourself. But if you were using it and wanted to use it to work as a complementary tool for someone else, you would have to be thinking very highly, thinking very connected to that person, and then reading it as if you are that person. Sometimes you can do that. Now here's the second one, and it's 5:49. We got 11 minutes to go, so I'm right on time. We did that little part there in 9 minutes. So we're going to now clarify this, and then I'm going to give you some announcements to keep you up to date as to some things I'm working on. There's one that I'm not going to say right now. I think I mentioned it last week, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore until everything is done and everything is complete. Then I'm going to just come out of the blocks and announce that one, and that will be sometime down in the summer. But we're going to get with this here. This one says, today I am healthy, whole, and complete. This one was channeled and written up on the same date as the last one, on May the 8th, 2015, a few days in front of Mother's Day of 2015. And it goes like this. Now, in this one here, next to the last paragraph at the end, I'll have you state your name. So I want you to receive this as if you are stating this. So here we go. Today, like any other day and moment in my life, I am always whole and complete. Just take that in. Today, like any other day and moment in my life, I am always whole and complete. I affirm right now that I am always whole and complete. I treat every thought and feeling that flows to and from my heart and my mind as truth. Therefore, I always choose to be and to feel happy. So this one is about a choice. See, the other one's a choice also, but the other one you got to build yourself into it. That's understandable. When you're doing an affirmation, you're affirming something, and then there's an affirmation, and then there's a decree, an affirmative prayer. You have to build yourself into it. Those things that just don't roll out of your head and roll out of your heart that easy. You got to build into it. It's just like a football player. Give you an example. I was searching for Doug Williams. He was number 17 in the Washington Redskins Super Bowl game of 22, Super Bowl 22. I remember watching that game, and I found it on YouTube. Not only just the highlights, but the full 3-hour game, and it was a beauty to watch. That was seeing a guy who was recognizing that he was more than just making history. He was being a quarterback, working with the mind over pain, and knowing that destiny was calling. So just bring that up as an example. So this one here, the first one, show you the title. The one I just got finished reading here is really all about building your energy up and preparing yourself to have the power to change, to make your life new in the moment, make yourself new. This builds your energy up. Now, this one here, this is when your energy is already built. Now you can accept what your day is going to be like. So, this one says, as I said, today, like any other day and moment in my life, I am always whole and complete. So, now you know this after you have set forth an affirmation, an affirmative prayer, and a decree. This is the result. And it says, I affirm right now that I am always whole and complete. I treat every thought and feeling that flows to and from my heart and my mind as truth. Therefore, I always, not once in a while, I always choose to be and to feel happy. I am the originator and creator of my own happiness, which starts on the inside of me and flourishes into my surroundings. That means when people are in relationships, and again, I'm not master of relationships, I've experienced it too. That's why this is here, during the time. It is interesting. You got to remember, no one makes you happy. When you're a child, your parents are doing everything to make your life comfortable so that you're happy, so that all you got to do is just go to school. That's your job. Your job is to go to school and learn. It was their job to keep the roof over your head, keep food in your belly, keep clothes on your back, and made sure you had a good time without any hindrances or restrictions. Not everybody gets that, though. Many people have still a lot of difficulties in their families and everything, so there's some that are not having that. And yes, some souls are choosing those experiences. Some souls are choosing parts of it and don't get to see everything that they chose. That's going on too. We all can attest to that, right? That there's some parts that we remember that we chose, our soul chose, and there's a whole lot of stuff that we don't remember that was connected to all of this. And people often have said, metaphysicians often say, or spiritualist ministers, if you knew all this stuff was going to be out here going on, you might have aborted the spaceship coming in here. You might say, nope, I got to deal with all of that, and then I got to remember who I am and all of that, and hopefully that triggers something, triggers my remembrance of who I really am. That's a bit much to take on, and I'm not coming. I'll just I'll just stay with my light body over here and deal with this level of stuff, which is more intense than that level of stuff. But at least I know what this is because I can deal with it in my current remembrance without going in there and having to forget everything. So here you go. Now it says that you are the originator and the creator. So I am the originator and creator of my own happiness, which starts on the inside. It starts with you. This is why people say it's an inside job. Wait, it starts in here. So you're supposed to feel some things. You're supposed to be upset sometimes. You're supposed to shed some tears sometimes. Because if you didn't, you'd blow a gasket. You would implode on the inside, blow your heart out physically, have a heart attack, not just a stroke, but a heart attack, have brain aneurysms, have blood clots in your lungs, blood clots in your brain, and explode. Be out of here. And that's the way you're not supposed to leave. Or you get so depressed you commit suicide. So inside of me and flourishes into my surroundings. I mean, it's got to come through you and it's got to materialize into your current life and your energy. I look into my mirror. Now that's important. I look into my mirror. I got a mirror here. I got to look into it. You do too. and proclaim. Now, why would you look into your mirror and proclaim? Well, if this is going to be the external, the outcome, you are your own best cheerleader, your own best support system. Because you remember, it starts on the inside and flourishes to the outside of you, meaning in your auric field. So, what do you tell yourself? What are you proclaiming? Here it is: I love you. This is self love. I love you. You're telling this to yourself, and you got to be really sincere about it. I love that you are always providing for me to be present. Who are you talking to? You're talking to the God self on the inside, the Geo, the sacred Geo on the inside of you, the Holy Spirit on it, the God, the divine nature on the inside. That's who you're talking to. That's who you're having this invocation, this talk with. So you say, I love you. I love that you are always providing for me to be present. We, it didn't say you, not that, it didn't say the little you, the little ego, it said the Geo. You, we are healthy and happy. The core of my being exudes health and happiness. Remember I said it's got to flourish. It's got to pour up out of you. So you know when you're very, very happy, very excited. Sometimes tears can roll. You're very excited. You feel overwhelmed. You're very excited that you know that everything that you're doing has an impact and is unlocking doors and opening windows, doors, you name it, gateways of energy to come your way. Then it says, just as sure as the sun shines brightly. Check this out. Just as sure as the sun shines brightly upon me, my inner light is just as bright. And even a so called cloudy day reminds me to attend to myself first, then others. So that means you got to take care of you. You can't take care of other people if you don't feel well, you don't feel balanced, then you can't take care of other people if you don't feel balanced yourself. Today is an excellent day to remind myself that I am always whole and complete. I have some friends that would say that. I don't know if this is true or not because I've never heard this said from a Native American person, but some people say have said this. They said some Native statements are philosophical. That means the same thing. It's a good day to die, meaning that everything is in alignment, and you can now just release this physical life and go back with the Great Spirit. Maybe this is what they're meaning. That today is an excellent day to remind myself that I am always whole and complete. Now, right here, you're going to say your name. Today, say your name, think your name, is always whole and complete. This is true for me as well. Let's read that part. After I tell you that today is an excellent day to remind myself that I'm always whole and complete, today, you say your name right in here, whatever your name is. Or say, today I am. In me is always whole and complete. I know this is true for me as well. So today I state your name, am always whole and complete in me here and now. And then this is the most important part. I am excited. That is the most important part. You want to, when you state these affirmations, these affirmative prayers, and these decrees, you should say, you can say, I'm joyful, but sometimes you can be joyful and mellow about it. Just say, I am excited. In other words, you're happy. You're so excited. You're full of electrical, biomagnetic energy that it's overflowing in you. People can feel the energy on you popping off of you. The minute you leave your house, the whole block can feel you. You say, I am excited. And when you say that, you start smiling and you start getting excited about these words. And then what you want to do is read it with excitement. Read it in your own voice with excitement and rejoice within yourself. Rejoice. Recreate the joy that it is certainly true. So this is what I wanted to share with you, these two teachings. And this is the second one that I really didn't thoroughly go into on the show last week. I think next Wednesday on Blog Talk Radio, the actual show is called I See and Decree That It Shall Be. And I'm really going to lay out some decrees. So before I get off the air, I just want to let you know I have these PDFs, the 5 basic spiritual courses. I'm still gathering on these other ones that I'm going to be putting together, like how to the art of pendulums, and which can take you into a lot of things. How the channel is there. I'm going to do a short one on handwriting is mind writing, but I have to come up with several several handwriting analysis that I have to come up with, and I do have some in my possession that I'm going to, cards that people have sent. I'm not going to use their name, but I'm just going to interpret it, and I'm going to make sure that you can see the script very, very clearly, because that's very, very important. So it's taking a little time to get it together, but I have 5 to 6 or 7 more to put together, so it's going to take some time. I may not complete them all on schedule. I wanted to do them by November the 1st last year, but that didn't happen, so I can't give it a date. I'm just going to work on each one, and as I get it complete, I'm going to add it to the others. But all of these PDFs, these basic spiritual courses, they all sell for $27. And all you got to do is email me at iam.circleofgrace1@yahoo.com or iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. And I'll send you instructions on how you could simply pay for it. You can do it through sending me a check or a money order in the mail, or you can do it through PayPal. If you use PayPal, though, if you're outside of the United States and you're over there in Canada and things, you're going to have to transfer your money, exchange your money into U.S. dollars before we can do it. Okay, so just know that it can be taken care of and paid for first. $27 a piece on Tarot Basics 123. The Key to Life is Numerology, also known the shorthand. Numerology is the shorthand of astrology. That's all one title. Understanding Your Dreams, White Light Meditation, and Energetic Shields, and the Art of Manifesting Your Heart's Desires. Those 5 PDFs are $27 each. If you want to pay for all 5 in advance, then you're saving about $17, and you get the whole kit and caboodle, as they say, for $118. So email me, find out how you can go about pay for it through PayPal. I've got Square. We can do virtual Square work online. I can take your card information. So get in touch with me. You could Skype me at 505-349-4722. You can try my other prayer and decree line, which is a Magic Jack line, which is 505-717-4722. And that's it. And I say I have another project that I'm working on, but I'm going to announce that project down in the summertime. Having some help with that, and I don't want to say too much now, but you'll figure out how to get that one, and hopefully I'll be able to show it to you, which I know will be able to show it to you in its hard copy form, so I'm looking forward to that. I am on Blog Talk Radio every Wednesday, weekly Wednesday show for 30 minutes roughly on Blog Talk Radio, www.blogtalkradio.com, /circle of grace with the number 1 at the end. And that's my channel. There is the Age of Remembrance. My sub-channel title is Circle of Grace 1 in the Age of Remembrance. Broadcast at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay, and it goes for 30 minutes. So you're in Pacific time zone, that's 3 for you. Central, it's 5 for you. East Coast is 6 p.m. for you. Okay, but it comes on at 4 p.m. and we go over some topics. You can listen to that show by going to the website, or when the show is live, there's a live studio call-in number, but I rarely take any questions because I really don't have the time. That if you're not by a computer on Wednesdays, just during your time zone, you will call this number 347-677-0851 when the show starts. Central Time Zone, that's when you call at 5 p.m. On the East Coast, you call at 6 p.m. Pacific Coast, you call at 3 p.m. Out here in the Mountain Time Zone, you call at 4 p.m. and it puts you right into the show so you can listen to it. And I'm here every Thursday, right here every Thursday on Ustream with Circle of Grace 1 with myself, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. Well, as I always say now, my grace is your grace. As Akhenaten says with me, through me to you, our grace is your grace. And I always say I'm here at 5 p.m. every Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you soon. Thank you for following me, for watching the show. Use my emails if you have any further questions. Take care of yourself. Thank you.